The final playoff push is upon us. It's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. So out come the Cardinals now for their opening drive. And they're led out by their quarterback from Newport Beach, State in California, played at USC. It's Matt Barkley.
Coming off of a loss their last time out, I think he's just seeking to make a bigger impact on the game. He threw a touchdown pass, didn't throw an interception. I think he just wants to jump those numbers up in terms of flinging it around and letting his receivers get into the end zone.
The first carry now. This is Johnson trying to run inside, but nothing there. Calling no gain on the play, and it'll be second down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Here's Barkley. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. And this defensive line will be looking to control the point of attack.
And that's what they've done throughout this season. This is a terrific unit. They play together very, very well, and they don't permit big plays to happen.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Now Barkley. And some room to roam now. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs. So the offense has it 1st and 10. Back to throw here. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. Looks like the defense in press coverage here.
Let's go! Green 39!
On second down, Johnson. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be 3rd down.
Now, that result is no surprise. This team is bringing back memories of what? The 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens. Those teams were so great against the run. They made you abandon any plans of doing that when you played against them.
They'll look to throw here. And incomplete here on 3rd down.
And it is true. You can draft the fastest. You can draft the most athletic guys. But if they don't know the art of positioning, sometimes it's all for naught. In this case, in the right spot, help force the incompletion.
Yeah, but had his hands on it for a second. Would have been a tough catch, though. Falls incomplete. Yeah, last week in the loss, 5 punts as he gets this one away. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt, and it'll be Giant football 1st and 10. So here are the Giants ready to start their initial drive of the game. And trotting out there, their tall quarterback standing at 6'5". And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. And the Buffet boys, the O-line, hopefully they're ready today.
Listen, you got to feed them first. But if you do, you usually get a great product out on the field. And when they play well, the quarterback can't wait to feed them afterwards.
To throw on second down, James. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And that one was nearly picked. Not sure he was accounting for the free safety. Now it brings up third down. And the big meat on the D-line, we'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
An extra DB added here for the Cards on third.
Blitzer play coverage.
Here we go. Blue line it. Blue line.
James from the gun, he'll throw. A bullet throw, but incomplete. And the Giants send out their punter now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He punted 5 times in the win last week as this one's away. This is taken at about the 14. 21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Cards will take over 1st and 10. The Cardinal offense here ready to take over. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's two different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs?
Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. A good comeback there after the penalty, 9 yards, and it's 2nd and 6.
That was a good run, and it got to the second level. And what I mean by that is that's where the linebackers usually play. First level being the defensive front, last level being the secondary. But the strong safety position ended up making the tackle. And oftentimes we call them a hybrid. Combination defensive back, combination linebacker. We saw the linebacker make the stop.
And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
Let's go. Blue line it.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. They said there was a lot of discussion in their defensive team meeting room after last week's performance. They had 7 sacks. Something in the water. There's one in the first quarter.
A lot of discussion, a lot of excitement, because now everyone wants to get involved with this. Who's going to continue that process? Who's going to get to the quarterback this week? But they have to be careful. When you have that much pressure, they want to use it against you. Draws, screens, those types of plays.
We'll see if they do that. Offense needs something here on second down. It is 2nd and long. Now a handoff, Johnson. And he will be brought down at about the 43 that time. Only a yard on the gain there, and that'll set up 3rd and 13. Third down now following the run. They're going to look to throw. Looking for his running back, and he's got it. And he's out of bounds just before the midfield stripe at the 49. Call it a pickup of 7, and that's going to make it 4th down. Here's Andy Lee now as he'll kick it away for the second time. And he is leveled. Knocked down hard at the 22-yard line. And the Giants ready to come out now. And the first drive, 3 and out. Second possession, see if they can get a little momentum.
And oftentimes that first drive is just a feeling out process. You have some plays that you've got called and you want to see how the defense reacts. It may not go terrific on the first one. Now they're ready to go. They've kind of got a look at them, got a sense. Let's see if they open things up a little bit.
See if they open things up. Let's see what the defense does here, too, after a good stop. So incomplete on first. Let's see what second down has in store. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to lose yardage here. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. Looking a little bit like a continuation of last week. He had 3 tackles for a loss and now 1 more here in the first quarter of this game.
And there's been no lack of force by him, taking on the offensive linemen, playing them, but also there's a suddenness to his game. They have that initial contact, and then he's gone, moving upfield and making those plays in the backfield.
It's a big body moving upfield, too. Now James on 3rd down. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
It's a great job by this secondary. When I watch them, they remind me of elite defenders on a basketball court, right? They want to contest each and every pass.
Great contest on 3rd down to bring up 4th. Fielded at the 20. A big boot that time. 57 yards the official distance. And possession will switch hands. 1st and 10. The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field. And this is their 3rd drive. Maybe the focus right now not so much on points, but getting their first down.
And when you start off a game, you don't even think that's an issue, do you? But you go a drive, a second drive, no first down, that becomes an issue. Now you got to think about, okay, what type of play calling do I have to do to get us in a spot to pick that first one up?
Second down following the incompletion. He'll drop to throw. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Henderson. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
They really love to get him into one-on-one opportunities, and this is one way. Work him out of the slot and create a mismatch. Who's going to cover him? Corner, safety, linebacker? He's got a way to beat all of those positions.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This time they face a 3rd and 2. He'll look to throw. And he'll be out of bounds after getting this one across the 40. And give him 5 yards there, and it's enough for the first.
Like so many tight ends nowadays, they have no problem at all putting him in the slot and letting him go to work, and that's a nice pitch and catch right there for a first down.
They'll set up to throw. Over the middle, he finds Henderson, complete. And they're able to get this one down to the 25. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
All right, I'm doing my rudimentary math here. That's his 3rd catch here in the first quarter. I don't know if it's just game plan or he's just finding his way open.
And maybe a little of both. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They'll look to throw. And his throw is incomplete. Second down here after the incomplete pass. They'll hand it off now. Johnson. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. Just a couple there on the second down run. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8 situation. Looking to throw. And that is incomplete. On to try the field goal now, Phil Dawson. From the right hash, this from an even 40 yards out. And Dawson's kick is good. And the Cardinals have the first points. It's 3-0. So this offensive unit, they've now had 3 drives, and they only have 3 points to show for it.
Payoff is the key for everything. How many offenses we talk to that say we have to finish drives? Thus far, this team hasn't finished it quite the way they wanted to.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And a short kick, taking it about the 16. And he nearly broke that for more, but as it is, they'll start this drive at about the 37-yard line. Here's the Giant offense now as they get ready to take over here.
And this is their 3rd drive. Right now, maybe not about points, just about getting something. They haven't gotten a first down yet in this game.
It's a mental barrier you don't think about until you go a couple of drives without getting a first down. Then all of a sudden it looms big. It gets harder and harder to actually attain that first down.
Pressure comes, and the Cardinals bring him down.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here.
To throw is James. Looking to throw on second down. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. Took him 5 tries, but he is able to complete that first pass of the game.
And could you hear the exhale all the way up here? Not just from him, coaching staff, offensive line, receivers. Now he's off the schneid. Can they get him going in a nice groove where he becomes a little more consistent throwing the football?
Because you miss those first 2, but you get up the 0 for 4 range. That can be a little tricky, but able to. And the ball is knocked out. And the Cardinals have got it. Going the other way. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating something good for your team.
So out now come the Cardinals. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. Just, I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. Only a yard that time. 2nd and goal.
And as we've seen throughout this season, it's no picnic trying to score touchdowns against this unit. They're ranked number 1 against the run. But it's also difficult because it's not easy to throw the ball against them either.
Here we go now. 3-19.
2nd and goal from the 7. And he is going to go down. They sack him on the final play of the first quarter. So just a lone field goal in this first quarter of play. 3-0 is our score. Back to MetLife Stadium in just a moment. Ready to go now in the second quarter. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis. It's the Cardinals in possession of the football, and they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. They'll look to throw on 3rd and goal. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked off with great anticipation. And a short return to the 6-yard line.
Brandon, this is why golfers do their best to never count a score in their head before the ball goes in the cup. This looked like a slam dunk for points on this drive, didn't it? Instead, they throw an interception, and they're going to come away empty.
Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And for him, it's been pretty limited involvement down on the scoreboard. Maybe time to turn to this guy.
And you know me well. Winning games to me means starting with the running game and continuing to press the running game. Maybe you go away from him a little bit now, but the bottom line is he hasn't touched it enough to make a difference.
Well, they haven't established that running game yet. The question is, will they? And he'll be hit and dropped for a loss at the 5-yard line.
Partner, you mind if I take off this headset and put on a coaching headset?
You want to get this running game going?
I want to get this running game going. I'm going down there and saying, gentlemen, we have got to run the football. We've got to get it going right now.
Yeah, to this point in the second quarter, it has been a struggle. And looked like some movement there. Let's get the call.
False start, offense.
Not easy being a rookie left tackle in this league, and there they got him for the penalty.
Not easy at all. Think about what you're dealing with every game you play. Ostensibly, the best pass rusher is over you on every snap. I'd be a little jumpy myself.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he was very fortunate there to get out of his end zone. He maybe got back to the 2-yard line. 3rd down from the 2, 4th down lurking, but one more shot here. What do you do, Charles?
I think you run it here. Try and create some space, get your punter a little bit more room, and if you're really lucky, you get enough space to get 1st down. But I think right now the big thing is take care of the football, get space for your punter, and get rid of the ball.
Mr. Conservative.
Yeah, I do kind of wear that well, don't I?
It'll be a pickup of 14, but they're still a little bit short as it brings up 4th.
I know where we're headed on this. Terrific catch, gets his feet down, sets up a 4th down and short situation. But I bet we're wondering, why didn't he get to the 1st down marker running his route? Am I correct?
You got to know where the marker is, right?
Got to figure it out. I know every receiver is taught that. Sometimes circumstances change it. At least they have an opportunity to make a decision with not much yardage to go.
And the Cardinals getting set to trot out there now. And the interception thrown in the red zone last time. We'll see if they can rebound.
I just have to think the last thing he said as they went back out there was, don't do that again. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think that not only did he say that, but he also told him, let's put it in the end zone that it's supposed to be in, all right? The end zone we're trying to score.
Pressure, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back right around the 44. And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance and keep him away from your guy trying to throw the football.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10. Looked like he was trying to bounce it outside, but no success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just figure out where you're going to go, and sometimes you just have to take it to another spot. And trying to get it outside, the defensive pursuit was there and just ran him down.
giant rush gets home as down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Here's Andy Lee now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. This is taken around the 12. A little juke. A good return there, 17 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's just been looking for some space. I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try and mix things up a little bit. Get the ball in the hands of some other people, find some other playmakers, but always let the defense believe that he's still a threat.
I was going to say, don't forget about it.
No, don't take him totally out of the game.
It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. Maybe a little sign of life here offensively, Charles. They get their first down. They didn't have any in quarter number one.
And I think what we're seeing is great evidence of good scouting by both teams, right? Understanding what they like to do, their best players, try and take those away early. So now we're seeing some adjustments, and they end up getting their first down.
And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. And 15 yards there on the catch and run. James now throwing on first down. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Here to his running back, and he'll take this one down to the 36. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. Leaves them with 3rd and just a yard.
If they're going to get a first down out of this, they're going to have to earn it because there's been tough going in the interior there. And here we are on 3rd and 1. Be prepared. Brace yourself. Going to be some contact going on.
On 3rd down, it's Reynolds. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th. He came out ready to play. That's 3 tackles for a loss, Charles. We're only in the second quarter.
And that's problematic for the guys trying to run offense because that means he's got a pretty good idea of what they're doing and is actually beating them to the point of attack and making those plays. Might have to think about some misdirection or something to try and get him away from the ball.
And the Giants send out their punter now. He's been terrific so far. On 4th down, Cross. And he's going to let it go deep into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off inside the 10. And he spins through. And a very good return as he'll take it all the way up to the 40-yard line.
Well, surprise, surprise, partner. No, we know it's not a surprise. When you try to complete a pass against this Cardinals defense, there's a reason that they are known as the no-fly zone.
Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. Well, what do you think? You get the ball off the turnover near the middle of the field. You take a shot here in the first play?
You know I'm big on that. I love when I have great field position after a turnover. I feel like I might have them a little bit off balance. I prefer to take a shot, but a lot of coaches will tell you you only do it if you trust the guy who's got the football in his hands. Meaning, if it's not there, he won't force it downfield and maybe turn into an interception. He'll go to the check down, go to a second option, and go ahead and take the play that's in front of him. And that was a nice play by the defense, and it is tough to be an offensive lineman nowadays, especially if you're dealing with how the defensive tackles have evolved. Their quickness, their agility, their speed has changed the big guys in the middle, the center, and the offensive guards. Formerly, they were just power players. Now they have to be light on their feet as well to keep up with the speed of the defensive players.
Now let's go. Blue line.
Again, it's Johnson. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42. The Cardinals on third down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. This is 3rd and 8.
Let's go. 3-19. 3-19.
It's caught. Nelson. And they're able to get this one down to the 25. That one will go down as 33 yards on the third down conversion. They'll look to throw now on first down. He's to the 10, and they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. They'll try and run. This is Johnson. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
So the myth has been shattered. Every cornerback in the league is not just a cover corner. Some of them will stick their nose in there and make plays exactly as we just saw there. A big loss suffered by the offense after that nice tackle.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We're back to East Rutherford, but first this timeout. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Larry Ridley in Orlando with highlights and analysis of this first half of play.
And I'm going to check in with a heater.
I'm going to be right there with you, partner.
Set. Green 39. Green 39.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. It'll be a gain of 8 yards, and that'll make it 3rd and goal. This offense so far on 3rd down, they've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is 3rd and goal. They'll run it with Johnson. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. And now the Giants will stop play as they take a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime.
All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. And Dawson's kick is good. And that will make it 6-0. So give them 3 there. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they couldn't punch it in.
And credit this defense, too. That was the old bend but don't break approach. But it kept the offense out of the end zone.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This one taken from the 7. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. And New York set to take the field. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in. But I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
Second down now after the incompletion.
Here we go now. Boom.
Here's James to throw again. And that is incomplete. The Giants on third down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 10.
Let's go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And not a whole lot doing there, so get it up to about the 28-yard line. Now here's a timeout defensively coming from the Cardinals. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. And the Giants send out their punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. So a change of possession here on the punt. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him in contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
Toe
that. Super toe.
Now the Cards going to call another timeout, their second, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. So the offense takes the timeout, and they are back out and ready to rock.
All right, here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And he can't get away from the pressure. The Giants get there. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. The Cardinals on third down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This is 3rd and 9.
Green 39. Green.
Throw right side, going to be taken in by Henderson. And he'll go out of bounds across the 35-yard line. The 15 yards there on the catch and run. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys on plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch. I mean, when you talk about collectively, it's unbelievable. So their ability to move is practiced now. It's not necessarily, oh, he just took off and you guys figure it out. When he takes off, everyone knows where to go now. They know how to run routes, change things, make themselves presentable for the quarterback. It's a lot of time that they put in on it. It's not just your static 1, 2, 3. This is where the ball goes anymore.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. They'll look to throw. It's complete to Brown, right side. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
Let's go!
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now a signal and a timeout call, as it comes with 9 seconds to go in this first half of play. First down, he'll drop to throw. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. So a couple of field goals, that's all we've been able to muster through 2 quarters of play. 6-0 is our count at the break. As we send you now to Orlando and our Tiburon studios, where Larry Ridley is standing by with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Larry?
All right, let's roll those moving pictures. Now 1st and 10, offensive line won't be able to hold up here. This ends up as a huge loss in yardage. Continuing on the drive, Reynolds going to cough up the football here. Out now after the fumble. Under pressure here, and the ball is picked off. Giants defense forces the turnover. That'll do it from here in Orlando. Let's get back up to New York as we turn it back over to Brandon Guy.
And a short kick, taking it about the 16. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. The Giants offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working and call more of that.
And he's taken down, but not before getting this across midfield and just shy of the 40. 23 yards on the play. First down, James. Fuller brings it in over the middle. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
First down and 10 now for the offensive group. Now a play fake here on first down. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Fuller. And, a good hit there and knocked down hard. Another nice gain, 16 yards there and a first down again. Now the offense lining up first and 10.
Here we go now.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. Unable to connect on the first down pass play. Now it's second down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Only a yard on the pickup there, so it leaves them needing a conversion here on third and a tough 9. James to throw on third down. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Reynolds. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They look like a different team here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked over, that type of a speech. I think what they did was they analyzed what worked in the first half, what didn't, and figured out a better game plan.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive. They come out here in the eye. Back to throw. James. Under pressure, down he goes. Sacked at the 10.
That I'm struggling to understand a little bit. That close to the goal line, first down, run the football. You want to throw it, throw some play action on second down.
James to throw on second down. And he will take it all in for a giant touchdown.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially in the red zone, short field. But now even more so because these tight ends aren't necessarily the tight ends of old. They're the rocked-up wide receivers who have a little bit more speed. Way harder to cover than before.
Extra point attempt to follow here. And that one puts them on top here in the third. So that drive goes 8 plays. And it was finished off by a touchdown by the New York Giants. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. Decent chunk of yardage still left here. 2nd and 7. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And some room to work. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue. look to throw here on first down. And he'll avoid the tackle there with a slide. It's a 4-yard pickup, and it'll bring up a second down. 6 yards here to go for the offense on second down. They'll set up a throw. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
The offense on third down tonight, they're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. They're looking at third and a few inches. They'll run it now out of the gun. They'll be marked inches short. No gain on the play, and that's going to lead them to fourth down.
That was a terrific job by the defense stopping them on third and short. But sometimes you get some visual cues from the offense because when they're going in short yard situations, you might see the offensive line come in tighter.
And it's a fake here on 4th and inches. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off. They fake the punt. It doesn't work out. Well, not only did they try to fake it, they put the ball in the arm of their punter, and it didn't work out.
Not the quarterback.
No.
The punter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Risky.
And it's so funny because when it works, genius. When it doesn't work, not so smart.
Not so genius.
In this case, not so genius, but I do admire that he went for it.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. They go play action here on first down. Throw left side complete. That's Yoder. And he's out of bounds just before the midfield stripe at the 49. 5 yards on the catch there. Brings up second down. To throw is James. Looking to throw on second down. And this one's incomplete. The Giants on third down. It's been a problem. Just 1 for 7 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Looking to throw. James. And he's going to be out of bounds, but able to take it inside the 40-yard line. They give him 12 yards and a first down.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. James now to throw on second down. Over the middle, complete. That's Fuller. The reception good for 7. It's third down. Great change up there on the route and got that inside release, made it a successful pitch and catch.
Well, the first thing you want to do is have him thinking that you're going outside, make a move in that direction. Then you really don't run the route against the whole body of the defender. You run against a half of him, and the inside half, and he took it right across his face, got inside, and won that route in a big way.
It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains. And they're on third and short. They just tried to spread the field. It worked.
And I think that the spreading of the field, the extra receivers, has really become the next in the evolutionary chain in the NFL. Go all the way back in that situation, you're handing it to the fullback, right? As we evolve, maybe you pitched it to your tailback. Now you spread the field, and you have your choices of where to throw it and complete it for a first down.
And this is caught at the 8. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first. Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive. They run the counter now on first down. And after the good gain last play, this time they say, as he's going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
I would not want to be an offensive lineman in today's NFL, especially not a center or a guard, if you got to deal with these massive defensive tackles who could not just beat you with strength, but they can beat you with quickness and guile as well. They can get upfield and make plays. And a lot of times what they're taught, just go ahead and tackle everyone that comes in your area and keep the one with the ball.
2nd and goal to go now. And his rough afternoon continues. He's going nowhere again. It'll go as no gain on the play, and now they're looking at a 3rd and goal. So stuff for no gain on 2nd down brings up a pretty interesting 3rd from this distance.
I'm throwing the ball, and I'm not even thinking about play pass. I'm going to let them know right away I'm throwing it. I'm probably giving my quarterback some room, sprint him out to one side or the other, and give him an opportunity. If it breaks down, he can take off and run for it.
Holding offense.
And they will elect to decline the penalty.
Everything turned out the way they wanted it to. No sense in even having to take that one, hence the decline.
So we'll get the penalty all sorted out when we get back. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now here at MetLife Stadium. And we've got a dandy here. A 1-point game as we begin the 4th. And his kick here is good. And they bump the lead up to 4 now at 10-6. So they get the 3 here, but you wonder whether that's going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, you've now made it so they need a touchdown rather than a field goal to catch them. But you're right. If they'd gotten 6 out of that drive, this would be a much different game.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This one taken just inside the 10. And a nice job there as he gets this one up just shy of the 35-yard line at the 34. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
To throw. Throwing the slant pattern here complete. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. And a nice gain of 21 yards. So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39. Green 39.
Here's Barkley. In the middle of the field, he's got Nelson. Touchdown, Cardinals. J.J. Nelson, his first touchdown on the year. And the Cardinals have taken the lead here in the 4th. So the quarterback drops to throw, looks over, and boom, a guy that wide open, he has to be thinking, wait a minute, this is some kind of a dream. This is too easy.
Yeah, a great dream. One you don't want to wake up from. But for the defense, almost feels like there was a bust in coverage.
Now an important extra point here to stretch this lead to a field goal. He's got it, and this is indeed up to a 3-point lead. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it winds up in a touchdown for Arizona. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This will be taken in at the 1. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Out comes this field general once more, leading his offense back onto the field. And after the slow start, the numbers show he has really straightened things out. How often sometimes is that you come into a game and the defense's game planned a little differently than you expected?
More often than maybe people realize, so adjustments are often a big part of each and every game, and it's not just getting to halftime. It's series to series to make it work, and being able to hang in there when there's more adversity early and see them able to flip it around, it's kind of gratifying for a team to watch, especially for a coach.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
Here's James looking to throw on second down. And they can't get the long connection as it falls incomplete. The Giants on third down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This will be 3rd and 5.
Green, 39.
Back to throw. James. And the pressure will bring him down here. The Cardinals get home for the sack.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
And the Giants send out their punter now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you score points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Chad Williams, and now it's 2nd down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get about 3 as he takes this up near the 25. So now at 3rd and 7, and defensively, it's a dime look, 6 DBs. Now Barkley. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And this one will go to the 28-yard line. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. I hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
Here's Andy Lee now. On, we think, to punt, though he's faked it earlier, but he was unsuccessful. Oh, able to avoid him. And called out an even 50 yards on the punt with 7 on the return. And it'll be Giant football, 1st and 10. The New York set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now.
And this would have been intercepted if he could have gotten the feet in. Instead, it's incomplete. Boy, that really could have turned this one upside down.
And that's why defenders are often frustrated offensive guys. Actually made the catch, looked good doing it, but couldn't get his feet down in order to finish off the takeaway.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Looking left sideline, it's complete. And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield. 23 yards on the play. Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. They'll run it now out of the gun. And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. James to throw on 2nd down. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Yoder. And, he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a first down. Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
Fresh set of downs here. Looking to throw. James. And he slings one that's incomplete. So the incomplete pass brings up 2nd down.
Single receiver. Hey, you're on an island over there. Single receiver. Here we go now. Boom, landed.
Now James. Gonna throw again. Over the middle, complete. That's Yoder. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. The Giants on 3rd down. They've had a lot of chances, but not much success, converting only 3 times. This will be 3rd and 5. Back to throw. James. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here. He made his first attempt, this from 45. And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe. Checking in on Houston. It's in the 4th quarter there. And you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. If they can hold on, the win would be number 8 for them on the campaign. Well, you talk about clutch right down the pipe, and this game's all even here in the 4th.
And he didn't leave much doubt there, did he? Good snap, good hold, and that one was dead center.
The Cardinals offense now works their way back onto the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They begin the drive with Johnson. And he'll get this up only to about the 33. A gain of 3, 2nd down. Back to throw. It's complete to Fuller. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. Here's Johnson. He's been busy this afternoon. And he'll get this across midfield to the 48. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards. And it's 2nd and 2.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. Looking middle, and it's incomplete. This is 3rd and 2. Maybe the biggest play in this football game. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's not even going to get back to the line of scrimmage. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
They tried to run right into the teeth of the defense on 3rd down, but looked like those teeth were pretty sharp.
They were having absolutely none of it. Stuffed them for a loss.
Yeah, couldn't get any leverage up front and move people aside in order to run the ball.
Here's the veteran punter Lee as he sends this one away. And this one's out of bounds. Should be inside the 10, I think it is. At the 6-yard line. And New York set to take the field. And after the field goal last time, let's see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Give them 3 on 1st down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Like any team, they would have loved to have had more yards on that run, but it looks like they just want to get to the 2-minute warning and see what they want to do after that.
Time for a break. We'll come back and see how it all shakes out after this. So it's Giants football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Here we go with 2nd and 7.
Here we go now. Green, 39.
To throw is James. Operating from the gun. And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Looks like a nickel set here defensively on 3rd and 2.
Yeah, maybe expecting a throw. Looking to throw. James looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Yoder. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
That gets them the 1st down, but they've still got to move quickly here.
Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
James now. From the gun, he'll throw. He gets away from 1. He's letting this one go for Fuller. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off right around the 43. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. So how about that for a momentum switch?
We're in the 4th quarter, and it's a tie game. You've got to take care of the football here. Now their opportunity to take the lead right out the window, and everything is flipped in the other direction.
Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field. They need to get this around the 40 to have a chance to win it in regulation. From the 40, it's a 57-yard field goal, so that gives you a gauge.
And all they're trying to do now is pick up yardage in good chunks and get out of bounds to stop the clock. If they end up running a play and get tackled in bounds, they're worried the clock may run out on them and finish the game.
They'll have to be careful how they handle this. He's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is it just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. Finds a seam inside the 40. And he's brought down. Give him 17 yards that time as that'll move the chains. First down now, but the clock continues to move. They'll set up to throw. Room here to run. Oh, no, he lost the football. And who's got it? The Giants. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
Here's the Giant offense now making their way back out onto the field. They've got work to do, but they do still have a bit of time here.
And they've got to feel comfortable with that, but they have all their play sequences called. If they get out of bounds, that allows them to huddle and call another play. But if they don't, it's hurry up to the line of scrimmage and either spike it and stop the clock or continue to move it downfield in order to try and get in range and win this game.
See if they can do just that. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. A good pickup there at 22. Here's James on 1st and 10. Going right side here, and that's complete. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. The defense, they got a little bit of a breather. Now they're back and set as we resume play.
Hurry up, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage. Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's going to get this one down to the 30. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in this football game. So the offense took the timeout. Looks like they're ready to go as we get set to resume the action.
All right, here we go. Watch it now, Barney.
On 3rd down, it's Reynolds. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It's 4th down. And his kick is good. He knocks through his 3rd field goal of the game, and this one is the one that decides it. And the Giants win the football game. And Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for the Giants, they get win number 10 on the year as they move to 10-1. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, the problems just get worse and worse as they fall to 2-9 now on the year. And they'll try again next week at home against Philadelphia. So that'll do it. For my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. The Giants are winners as we say so long from MetLife Stadium.